everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Seeing as we are now in the penultimate month of the year, it is kind of time to start thinking about what books I still want to try and read in the year of 2023. So I figured the best way to kind of reflect on all of that is to do the end of year book tag. So that's what we're doing today. I do believe this tag was originally created by Ariel Bissett, so if I can find the original video, I will link that down below. Also, this video is very kindly being sponsored by Squarespace, and we will talk about them a little bit more later. So with all of that being said, let us jump into the questions. So the first it's a bird really close to my window. That was weird. I feel like a cat getting distracted by birds outside. Oh my god, there's so many of them. So the first question is, are there any books you still need to finish before the end of the year? And I am currently only in the middle of one book that I would really count for this question. And my answer was very much the same last year because I was also in the middle of a classic and I was like, oh, I'm totally gonna finish it before the end of the year. I did not, but I feel like I might have some hope of actually finishing this before the end of the year, and that is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I started this book back in July, I believe. I read 130 pages of it, so I'm like a third of the way through it almost. And here's the thing, I was really enjoying this book because it is a Gothic classic. I generally really enjoy Gothic classics. I'd been wanting to read literally anything by any of the Brontes for such a long time, and I was so happy that I finally picked up Jane Eyre. And then it's been like 3 months since I last picked this book up. However, I do feel like this is kind of the perfect classic to pick up in November. Also, I'm pretty sure some of you guys like told me that in the comments that it's like perfect for November. So I'm really hoping that I can pick this back up this month and get back into it. I was also annotating it, which I love annotating classics. It's so fun. Also, another layer to this is that I made it a goal at the beginning of the year to read 3 different classics. I have read 1. I read Great Expectations back in March. I really liked it, or was it February? I think it was February. And I loved that one, and annotating it was so fun. I don't know why I can never get myself to pick up classics, but I'm hoping, praying, believing in myself that I will be able to read at least a bunch of this in November and finish it before the end of the year. So going on record that it will happen. But we'll see. Question 2 is, what are some autumnal books? This is so weird. I wrote down these questions in my notes, and for number 2, I have autumnal year to transition. I don't know what I was going for there. But question 2 is, what are some autumnal books that are good to transition into the end of the year? Honestly, I love November. Like, November has to be my second favorite month of the year, obviously, behind October. But I feel like the vibes of November are just so elite because it is pure fall. It's finally getting cold. It's dreary outside. I mean, it's a dreary day today. It's raining. It's perfect. I am a November lover. So I always love picking out my November TBR, and I feel like they're just full of good like transition books to the end of the year. So here are some. First of all, this one is kind of a cop-out because I do have to read this book in October, and I'm not even sure if this is like strictly a fall book. But the cover is giving me major fall November vibes, and that is Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. This is the Wyverns of Words book club pick for this month, which is why it's kind of a cop-out. But honestly, I picked this one up before me and Cass decided to make it the book club pick, so like it still kind of works. But this is a very short fantasy novel, and mainly, I mean, like the cover is like, it's just giving fall. And I have no idea if it's actually fall-esque, but I also just feel like the transition into the end of the year is the perfect time to pick up some fantasy novels. And I've been wanting to try this one for a while, and it's a very short fantasy novel. It's under 300 pages. So I just feel like this will be a good book to sit down with on a cold, blustery November day, and hopefully absolutely love. And then like a more proper book for this question is going to be Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. I plan on reading this one like in the very beginning of December, but this seems to be a witchy tale full of folklore and myths and legends, and I think that honestly sounds perfect for the beginning of December. I have read 2 of Shay Earnshaw's other novels, and I love her writing so much, and I'm always on the lookout for books with like gorgeous writing that you can just sink into for the end of the year. So I'm really excited about this one as well. Question number 3 is, what is a new release you are still waiting for? I am slightly changing this to be new releases that I'm waiting for the end of the year because I do have more than one, although I think all of these questions are kind of just asking for one book. but I always just have multiple books, so we're just gonna have to deal with that. But I have 3 books that I am so excited about. First of all, we have Gold by Raven Kennedy. This is the 5th book in the Plated Prisoner series. It was originally supposed to come out in June, but now it's gonna come out in December, and I am so excited to see the conclusion of this series because, as we all know, or maybe we don't know, but I have talked about it a few times, I really do enjoy the Plated Prisoner series. The 3rd book in that series is one of my absolute favorite reads of 2022. It was so good. And I'm just so intrigued to see how the series is going to end. Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross is coming out in December as well. And as I'm sure we all know, this is the 2nd book in the Letters of Enchantment series. I think that's what it's called, which I do love that series name, but it's the book that comes after Divine Rivals. We all know about Divine Rivals. I feel like you'd be hard-pressed not to, but I cannot wait to see where this is gonna go. I have the UK hardback pre-ordered because it is gorgeous. I mean, look at it. I know. And then the last thing coming out, I think I might be the most excited about this because Heartstopper Volume 5 comes out in December. I feel like I've been waiting forever for the next volume of Heartstopper to come out because the last one came out in 2021, and I love Heartstopper with my whole heart, so I am so excited for Volume 5, and I'm so excited that Volume 5 is not the last volume, because originally I think we were all kind of thinking that Volume 5 was the last volume, but thankfully, Alice Oseman, the icon that they are, said that there were gonna be 6 volumes, so amazing, but I am so excited for Volume 5. So obviously there are so many amazing releases coming out before the end of the year. I'm sure there are many that I missed, but those are just the 3 that I'm the most excited for. So we are going to be taking a brief break on the questions so we can talk about the sponsor of this video, which is Squarespace. So as I mentioned earlier, this video is very kindly being sponsored by Squarespace, which is the perfect all-in-one platform to help you build your website and expand your brand. And the absolute best part about Squarespace is that you do not need any previous coding experience to build your own website. And to somebody who is really bad at coding, that is great news because they have so many different templates that you can start out with, and then it's really easy to just tweak them and make them fit your vision better. They have so many helpful tools like really insightful analytics that you can then use to grow and expand your business. They have email campaigns that you can use to drive sales and engage with your audience. And they also have really cool blogging tools that you can use to just share things with people. Like, for example, I made a website just so I could share pictures of my cats. I have shown this website to so many people and they all think it is so fun. I started out with a template from my website and I found it to be really easy to just change things up, move things around, and just make it look how I wanted it to look. And it's been really easy to update. I've added even more pictures of my cats. I've added an about section. I even added a picture of one of my other cats, and it's been so easy. So if you want to go check out any of these tools for yourself, you can head over to Squarespace for a free trial. And then when you are ready to launch, you can use the code katieisreading10 for 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. So thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting me and my channel, and also to you guys as well for also supporting me and my channel all the time. So with that all being said, let's get back into the questions. Question number 4 is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? I am a little bit scared of one of these, but I'll save that one for last. First of all, I really want to read The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I did start this one. I took my bookmark out of this though because I wanted to use the bookmark for something else, so I have no idea where I'm at in it. But I was really liking it, and I've been wanting to read The Atlas 6 for such a long time, so I'm like, all right, need to set a deadline. Hopefully that'll be helpful. I don't know if an arbitrary deadline is the way to go, but we'll see. But if you guys don't know, this is like a dark academia fantasy type of situation. We have like 6 main characters that we're following who are trying to become members of the Alexandrian Society. We are following 6 characters who are vying for 5 spots. So I don't know what's gonna happen to that other one, but I'm certainly intrigued to find out. Next up, I really want to read Circe by Madeline Miller. I've been wanting to read either of Madeline Miller's like really big books for such a long time, and now that I finally have my hands on Circe, I think it is the time, my friends. Also, it's been a really long time since I read anything Greek inspired, and I do really love Greek mythology and Greek literature. Like, I took a whole course on it a couple of years ago, and I loved that class so much. We read the Odyssey, we read the Iliad, we read other things that I can't think of at this point in time, but like I read the 2 main ones and I really enjoyed that. So I've been wanting to get into some Greek retellings for quite a while, and I think it is finally time to do that. This is way too bright, I think. How do I change the ISO? Okay, that looks better. And then the last one that I have here is the one that I am terrified of, to be honest, because this book is Let me see here. How many pages are you? This book is 1,233 pages. I'm sure we can all guess what it is at this point, but I really want to try and read Oathbringer before the end of the year. I mean, why is it so long? Like, I'm excited that it's so long because I've loved the first 2 books in the Stormlight Archive, but damn, is it ever this serious? It might be. I do really like Stormlight. I am probably going to end up doing the same thing that I did last year because starting this book terrifies me. So I will probably wait until sometime in December and just marathon the whole thing in a week. So be on the lookout for that vlog, which will be happening because I did put this book on my 2023 TBR. And to be honest, like, I'm kind of doing a really good job on my 2023 TBR. Like, I don't mean to brag. I don't mean to flex on you or anything. But like, for me, it's going really well. But I thought we could take a look at my 2023 TBR as well, and I can just show you guys how it's going. So far, I've read 9 out of the 15 books that I've put on my TBR, and considering last year I was sitting at like 4 for a really long time, this is looking pretty good. But here's my TBR page. We can kind of see how it's going. Yes. The only ones I have left on here are Gold, which is, I talked about earlier, A Wilderness of Stars by Shay Earnshaw, which I don't know if I'm gonna get to or not, just because I'm not sure if I'm still interested in it or not. Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber, which I do plan on reading very, very soon. Oathbringer. Hello. I also really want to read Daughter of Smoke and Bone, so I'm hoping that one will happen in November as well. And then Jane Eyre is the only other one left on the list, which I have also mentioned in this video. So I'm thinking I should be able to do it, but we'll see. Okay, on to question 5. Are there any books that you think could shock you and become a favorite of the year? I don't know. But I think, like, if any books are going to, it's either going to be Oathbringer, because again, like, kind of the same thing happened last year when I read Words of Radiance. It was so freaking good, but I read that book after I filmed my, like, top favorite books of the year, and I was so sad because I definitely would have mentioned it in that video, but it just, I read it too late. So I'm kind of thinking if I loved the second one that much, hopefully I will love the third one as much. I just don't know though, because I feel like I've seen mixed reviews on the 3rd and 4th books in the Stormlight series. I feel like it's pretty unanimously agreed upon that like the 1st and 2nd Stormlight books are like just top tier books. But I've definitely seen some people not like Oathbringer as much, but I have seen people really like it, so I'm excited to see what I think. And the other one I think could maybe be Jane Eyre, because even though it is taking me so long to read this, I feel like that's normally how it goes with classics that I end up really enjoying. Because take Dracula, for example, I started it last May, and I think I read like about 80 pages, and then I put it down for like 3 months, and then I picked it back up in July, and I absolutely loved it. Like, it made it onto my top favorite books of the year, it's my new favorite classic, but like I took a 3-month break. So potentially the same thing could happen with this one because I was really enjoying it, so we shall see. And then question number 6, which is the last question, have you already started making reading plans for the next year? I have absolutely already started making reading plans for 2024. Oh, geez, that's crazy. First of all, I'm really hoping to make a lot of progress in the realm of the Elderling series, which is Robin Hobb's like expansive, all of her series put together title thing. So I'm really hoping to finish the Farseer trilogy. I'm thinking I can read the second one this year and then hopefully read the last one at the beginning of next year. And then I'm so excited to jump into the Lifeship Trader series because so many people love that series and I just want to know what's up. Honestly, even if I don't like how the rest of the Farseer trilogy goes, I'm going to pick up Lifeship Traders because I know you could technically start with either of them. I do really like Robin Hobb's writing style, so I'm like, even if I don't like this series, I'm going to try the other series as well for sure. Also, I'm definitely going to be reading Rhythm of War at the hopefully beginning of next year because I'm pretty sure Stormlight book number 5 comes out like maybe at the end of next year, if I am remembering correctly, and obviously I want to be able to read that one when it comes out. So I'm aiming to read Rhythm of War in January because that is when I have a lot of free time. Like, I know I have a lot of free time in the summer, but for the most part, I never want to pick up high fantasy in the summer, especially like 1,200 page high fantasy in the summer. So I'm thinking very beginning of the year, although I might be burnt out because I will have just read Oathbringer, but we'll see. We'll just have to see. And then the other reading plan that I have for like the very beginning of next year and like later this year is to finish the Throne of Glass series. So I only have Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash left. And I am hoping to finish that series before the 3rd book in the Crescent City series comes out. So like, it's come out in January. I don't know when the third book comes out, but hopefully I can finish that before the new release. That's kind of like my other arbitrary deadline. We love some good arbitrary deadlines around here, okay? So I'm kind of thinking that's what I'm aiming for. So those are the 3 like main reading plans that I have for next year, but I always just have like a million reading plans for like the future all the time, so those are just a couple of them. And we have come to the end of the tag, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I love doing this tag. I also really love watching this tag. I feel like it's a way for me to kind of reorient myself before the end of the year and really pinpoint the books that I want to try and read before the new year. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing into some of my reading plans for the next few months. Obviously, I would really love to know what some of your reading plans are for the end of the year. I would love it if you would answer some of these questions down below, or you can kind of just tell me a general TBR that you have for the rest of the year. Also, before we go, I do want to thank everybody over on my Patreon. Love you guys so much. If you guys ever, this is such a bad heart, like, I tried, okay? If you guys are ever looking for more content from me, it is always linked down below. We do some really fun stuff like a monthly buddy read. We do readathons, journaling content. What's the other thing? Extra videos. I do an extra video every month. It's a good time. So you can always join if you want to, but I think with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Hope you're all having an amazing November so far.